Hey, welcome back. I'll explain it to you in a second. Give me a second to get Facebook online here. All right. Facebook, where you at? Okay, they're almost here. Jeez, it's freezing up, so. Um, okay, I think I got it. Okay. Here we go. Going live with Facebook. Thank you, YouTube, for being patient. They're about to go live here. Okay, perfect. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I've never done 2 videos in a day, I don't think, not to this magnitude, but something came to me, and I realized that I'm supposed to get this message out. And so I'm going to do just that. I'm going to be giving you another message, a completely different message than one I did earlier. So I was talking with a friend of mine who's going through something. She's had a rough time, found out that her boyfriend she was about to marry was cheating on her. And so she was strong enough to break it off and to move forward. But now, right now, she's having some doubts and she's going through some things. And she was talking to me and she asked me a question. And she said that she thinks God hates her. And that kind of stirred up some stuff in me. Obviously, it just immediately brought out some stuff. And I know what came out of me was not of my own divine. It was not on my own thoughts. It was something divine. The reason I know is because how it came out so perfectly that it had to be somebody else. It had to come from somewhere else. And so I want to share with you what was given to me because I realize these words are so powerful that we all need to hear them. And I want to share them here with you. So she thought that God hated her, and she's like, I'm going through some things I can't make it through. And so what was given to me that I'm going to give to you is that we are all wheat. We are wheat. And we're all one grain of wheat or one stalk of wheat or whatever they're called in the field, God's field. And in that wheat here, what's going on is that as we are, if you take wheat out of the ground with, pull it up, root and all, you can't make bread to fulfill and feed and to stave off hunger and to help fill somebody so that they don't die. You can't do that as what you are right now. So what has to happen is that you have to be ground down under pressure. You have to be transformed from your wheat state. You have to be milled. You have to be heated and boiled, and heat and hot, all those things until you are finally whatever the process is. But you know that flour does not look the same as wheat. It doesn't start off as wheat and end up back at looking like wheat. No, it's flour. And when we get to that flour stage where we are flour, the only way we can become bread to feed somebody is things have to be added to us. You have to add water, maybe milk, you have to have eggs, maybe all these different things that have to be added to us to make the bread to sustain 1 million people. So what you're going through right now is all you're doing is you're being milled. You're being broken down. You were a stalk of wheat, and God needed to make some bread to feed someone. And he took you, he plucked you, and he's rolling you out and putting you into the state to where when he adds the milk, the water, the yeast, the eggs, the butter, the cream, whatever he adds, and you become this magnificent piece of bread. When you become that, the only way that happens is if you have to be broken down first. So all the pain and the heartache that you're going through, or you're feeling like someone's not doing you right, when you feel like someone's coming at you wrong, when you feel like someone's taking advantage of you, you feel like you're being left, when you feel like you're being mistreated, when you feel like you're being abused, when you don't have enough money, when you don't have enough this, you don't have enough that, when you can't find enough of this, you can't get to left, you can't go right, you can't do all these things, what's actually going on is you're not failing. You're actually being ground. You're being turned into a product that can be utilized and made into bread. Because you in your wheat form, if you took a stalk of wheat and you put it in a bowl and you added in water and you added in milk and you added in eggs, all you would have was a mess. You would just have a whole bunch of items in a bowl. And the bowl representing what is needed, what the product is in the bowl, and that mess is not going to feed anybody. But when you're broken down from where you are to the basis of what you are, to when you're rolled out and you no longer look like wheat and you don't feel like you can go any further and you don't feel like you can go on any longer, what's actually happened is you are making yourself into bread. And so you're being transformed into a usable form. You're being transformed into something that can be added, because at your estate, you can't add anything to it. When you add that, you guys have all cooked or seen somebody cook. When you add in water, milk, your eggs, yeast, all that stuff to flour, and then you heat it up some more. So you add stuff to it and you heat it up some more. That's when bread happens. But it doesn't happen if you're still wheat. So don't stress about all the things in your life that are going on that are knocking you down. Trust me, I've got some right now that are heart-wrenching, and I'm trying my best to stay afloat. But I know that I'm being broken down from my wheat form to my flour form, if that makes any sense to you. And so don't stress. It's hard right now, because the stone that you're being rolled out with right now, that stone is heavy. It's designed. It has to be harder than the wheat is. You can't ground wheat up if the stone is not hard enough. If you had a stone that was as hard as the wheat was, all you're doing is just rubbing rocks against each other. It has to be harder. There has to be more pressure added to that to actually make you into something else, to grill you down, to mill you down. You've got to boil in water. You've got to break down the essence of who you are for anything to be added. You cannot go where you need to go the way you are right now. You must be broken down. So don't look at it as a travesty. If you're, for example, I told her, I was like, if your man's not doing you right for whatever reason, be glad you found out now. And be glad you're turning to God to figure it out and fix that. Then going through the whole situation of figuring out later when he's already got you prepared and ready. And then you're bread, and all of a sudden you realize you weren't ready, and then you got to be broken down again. Be glad for the things that are happening right now, because they're making you stronger. They're making you more powerful. They're making you tough, because the world, as you get more powerful, gets tougher. And we're all going through something. And this is the last thing I'll say. That's an individual page. 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 But we're all in the same book. We are all part of the same book. Trees get broken down, and cut down all the time to be turned into paper. But you can't really write on a tree the same way you could until it's in its paper form. So you've got to let God break you down and understand He doesn't hate you. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. He loves you and He needs you to get to that next level. And so I wasn't expecting it to be this long. I really wasn't. But that's what came to my heart. And I'm going to read, let's see, I want to make sure that I got hers. Everything that I said to her, because it was pretty powerful. Some of the things that we came across together. Let me see here. And I appreciate you guys being patient here. So I told her, it's okay to cry, because even Jesus wept, for those of you who are religious. And, she's saying that, let's see here. He doesn't hate you, but for us to accept all the great things that we are destined for, we have to be broken down from what we are to be built up to what we're supposed to be. And let's see, last but not least, grain in the flour. Yeah, that's it. That's fine. Just remember, guys, you need the pressure and you need the heat, and you need to be boiled, and you need to be prepared to go to your next stage, because wheat doesn't feed. Flour makes bread, and that feeds. And that's all I have. You guys have a blessed day. I'll talk to you later.